good evening, and welcome to Karren's. I am so happy to be here this evening without a thunderstorm. At any rate, it's beautiful outside. Yes, it's warm, but it's lovely. And hopefully, you are healthy, happy, and in a safe place. So, I want to just say hello and welcome to all of our viewers and listeners. I do hope you are tuning in this evening. I'd love to chat with you. I actually have some questions of my own tonight and would really appreciate your input, feedback from the audience. So I thought tonight we would talk about intelligent planning. What does that mean to you? I'd like to know. What does intelligent planning mean to you? I'll wait to some of my listeners and viewers chime in. In picking this subject tonight, I thought about teachers. I've run across a lot of teachers recently, and believe it or not, they're buying a lot of materials for their class, things that we typically think of as being there, that is, being in the classroom for the students. A lot of teachers are going into their own pockets to provide basics. Also, some are providing masks in their classrooms if, in case a student may come in and doesn't have one. Um, Arts and crafts kind of materials, extra pencils. I just find it really, really interesting. Organizers, they're thinking of ways that the students don't have to touch various items where, all the students are involved in getting certain materials in the class. They're thinking of ways that the student doesn't have, multiple students, that is, do not have to touch certain things. So they're getting all kinds of organizers. And so that kind of brought me to intelligent planning. Of course, when you hear that, you may think of corporate level. First of all, you may think of, some even may think of artificial intelligence, having various things automated, which it certainly includes automation and systems and what have you. But I was thinking on that level of thinking ahead, planning, like in this case, taking in the impact of COVID, for instance, and how the classroom dynamics change as a result. Certainly, that's intelligent to be thinking ahead, even to the point of purchasing these things yourself. That's a very smart move. Caring teachers, not thinking about, okay, the school budget doesn't allow me to get X, Y, and Z, but I know my students would benefit from this. And of course, when all of those things are in place, it sort of alleviates unneeded, undesired pressure or anxiety, because someone has thought things through to the point that you don't have to worry about it. And it's the same thing on the college level, of course, not the same way, but certainly we are thinking about the courses that students have. A prior year, for instance. These are all examples. I mean, take for instance classes that normally have 50 and 60 students. Okay, now that enrollment has dropped. That enrollment has dropped to 20 or 30 students. Okay, it could be as a result of interest. It could be the result of trends and where students, focus lies. It could be a variety of things, but the impact of it. for instance, impact where you schedule their classes. Okay, so normally it was a big class and you put it in this room. Now there's smaller enrollment, so you're looking at another room. Yes, these are very basic examples, but they certainly are important to, in the case of school, delivering a course in a class where it accommodates whatever, if it's a lecture hall, it accommodates the teachers, how they present their subject matter. Okay. And now that even goes to the point of where they'll be spaced out. So that class of 30, okay, there are only 30 enrolled. Now they have to look at perhaps a class that accommodates 60, 65, so that they can have that spacing out again. So this whole thing of planning, being productive, means you have to think about what are the priorities. There's a whole lot of things, we know we can get in busy work. We can get into busy work, and that's nothing new. But is it really of value to what it is you need to get done? Is it really of value to your priorities? Is it really of value to what the objective is, or meeting the mission of the company? So I thought about, what does planning and productivity mean to you? I'd really like to hear from some of you out there who are involved in activities that really require planning and putting together. I have a friend, for instance, who just started a new job, and she's thinking about ways to best work together, ways in which to assign certain task, okay, in order to, let's say, make the office run more smoothly, and or get the best results, be the most productive, play to an individual's strength. All of this is planning, communication, productivity, very important. Hello, hello. I see someone here that I know very well. Hi, Judith. Judith is my AP partner. And quite frankly, I happen to be talking about her. How are you this evening? We're talking about planning, we're talking about productivity, and even we can throw routine in there, okay? We could put all of that together. Um, Here is one person's view of what productive means to them. Being more productive means spending more time, energy, and attention on making progress on the stuff that matters. I'm going to stop there, because sometimes we don't recognize, or we haven't properly assessed what really matters. I've been in that position myself. I may be working on this, when if I really gave it thought, concentrated on it, planned it out, I say, oh, okay, so really I need to be handling this, and this I can put aside, or perhaps I can delegate it, depending on what it is. Um, yes, planning effectively to lean on each other's strength. Very, very important. So, um, so this person says, I say stuff because I don't want to constrain thinking to be solely in terms of work, which is a very good point. As I said when I started, I thought about this in a variety of areas. I know a lot of times our minds just go to work, or go to the professional part of our lives, for instance. But I heard something this morning. Well, just to summarize it, how you do some things is how you do everything. In this case, they were talking about how you manage your money. If you are frivolous and not careful managing your own financial affairs, don't you think that may carry over to your professional financial affairs as well? Yeah, it's not like a switch. You know, you're really responsible over here financially, and over here you're come what may. Doesn't really work that way. That one individual is going to take those habits and those behaviors to both side of the track, as it be. Let's see. If your actions are aligned with what matters to you the most, you're being productive. I'll read that again. If your actions are aligned with what matters to you most, then you're being productive. If your actions go against what truly matters to you, then you're not being productive. It's just that simple. I want to get back to a planning point. Okay, so we have this event every year. And in the beginning, it was finding finding the venue. And then, it would be some choices and what's available. And it was always done very high level. So they were looking for the best places, accommodate people. Where people were coming from all over the world was also a consideration. What other events were going on related to this activity? Those were all considerations. And then it got to the point where people wanted to just go to a central place for this annual event and not concern themselves so much with should we have it here, do we go there, what's the weather like here, so forth and so on. And got to the point where one location was decided on. And that when that happened, it was just year after year, it was that location. So, something pretty straightforward like that occurs year in and year out, you kind of have a rhythm, and yes, you have a system. Basically, the same people are invited to this event with some roll off and some roll on, depending upon it may depend upon age, it may depend upon productivity. What are they doing? What's hot in the market? What's not? Let's get the hot guys and roll off some of the guys who may not be doing anything so hot, or you may already have a high powered person in their area of interest, so you don't need to, you use one. But basically, the same thing happened every single year. And even though the same thing happened every year, we pretty much are inviting the same people. We pretty much roll out the same thing, the same time. Like we learned. So we started rolling out a save the date card. The other thing we learned was set the date at that event. So today we're having the big annual event. While everyone who is a major player at this event, let's set the date now. And that's what they do. People get out their calendars right there in the room and they set the date that best suits their schedule. And so they leave the event with the date selected. If there's a little tweaking here and there down the line, that's fine. I say all of this to say to show you how things with this particular event occurring every single year are pretty much the same. I would get the same calls from the same offices every single year asking me something that let me put it this way, we all should have. And the we all I'm referring to are these senior executive assistants to these CEOs that are major players in this event. But it never failed. Every single year, I would get a call for X, Y, and Z. Now, you got X, Y, and Z every single year, just like I did. But yet, every year, I would get the call for X, Y, and Z. Is that planning effectively? Is that putting things together in a project folder that you know is going to happen the next year? Are you able to go in your files electronically, paper, however you keep your files, and in some cases it may be both, and roll that out? And oh, Carrie, you are the best. Oh, thank you so much. And I just think to myself, why isn't it in their file? But nonetheless, planning, productivity. It's all reflective of your activity and how well you perform. And we're at the level where we need to be, and God knows we should definitely be operating in excellence at this level. I mean, you can operate in excellence at any level, but of course, the expectations were there for us. But anyway, just to give you a simple example of planning effectively and being productive, an event that occurs every year, it can somewhat cut down on your productivity because you know what's going to happen. You know the dates it's going to happen. You know all the activities that need to take place before D Day. So there you have it. Let's see what else I have. Okay, so sometimes, of course, work isn't in this case productive, and other times, relaxing, playing, or simply being the best person you can be with your loved ones is the most productive action you can take. Okay, so that's understandable. And folks say you might be asking yourself, how can I be more productive? And you're not going to find the right answer because you're not asking the right question. Okay, after you've started asking yourself the right questions, there are a variety of planning and productivity resources that you can avail yourself to. But you first have to ask those right questions. Okay, so let's see what else. With intelligent planning, and it's, I gave you that small example of that annual event. Um, it helps companies to guide their forecasting accurately. I gave you the example of college, for instance, and planning the courses that are going to be offered next year. A lot of things are taken into consideration. What was the enrollment last year? Did it grow or did it decrease? What rooms are going to be needed? If there's audio visual equipment, which today a lot of the classrooms are already equipped with it, but you want to find out all those things in planning for the semester, and where and how you'll offer the courses that you're going to offer. So, yes, companies can guide their forecasting accurately, and with confidence, leveraging a wide array of data points, trends. We talked about classes that were 60 last year and only 20 this year. What's changed? Okay. And assumption validators to make the most informed business decision and predict the future health of businesses. And of course, this is also accompanied with various tools to help assess that forecasting. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? Does anybody have any input? Anybody have anything to say about how they're planning, their intelligent planning goals? Any input, any questions? I'd love to hear from you, because we all have different systems. And quite frankly, there are so many systems out here. I'm not here to speak on that. I have a lot of associates who are very skilled, and that's their expertise in telling you the different systems for project management, the different systems to aid you in your productivity, the different systems that track each and every, let's say, each and every item, if you will, that needs to be considered in whatever project or planning that you're doing. So, intelligent planning provides opportunity to consume, exploit, and create actions based upon much larger volumes of data. And that's what we were talking about. There are many tools and resources out there, and those analytics can really point you in the right direction, tell you how well you're doing, whether or not you did just go away. I am sorry. I don't know what happened there, but my plan is to give my computer an overhaul to see just what is going on because it has been acting strange lately. But nonetheless, I have the time and the foresight to deal with this now as I have several important projects on the horizon and this little machine here I need. So it's incumbent upon me to pay attention, give it some love and care, and ask it to please produce quality work that I am accustomed to. I'm sorry for that interruption. I don't know if I dropped off or you could hear me talking, but nonetheless I am back. And I just want to thank you all for joining me this evening on Karen's Carrots talking about intelligent planning, productivity, and what it means to you. So, before we get any more interruptions, unexpected interruptions, I am going to conclude my broadcast at this point, as they say, quit while you're ahead. But nonetheless, I thought that was important. I thought it was important just to touch on the effective planning. And all of this, one word I don't think I use, but I'm sure you know is very important in this whole conversation, and that's communication. Okay? Because we don't do everything ourselves, we work in concert with others. And I don't know of any mind readers, and you probably don't either. So it behooves us to communicate, be effective in our communication. It will, in fact, aid our planning. So I thank you for joining me this evening, and I want to say Karen's Carrots enjoys being here. If you'd like to get in touch with me, and I sure like to hear from you, you can book a call or just email me at info at EA's in the C suite or info at KarrenEHenderson.com, and I will certainly respond to you. Again, if you'd like to book a call, you could just go to my website at www.easintheCsuite.com. I appreciate your support. I look forward to seeing you next week. And I'll say good night from Karen's Carrots, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.